It started like any other Saturday morning in Greenville, South Carolina, the kind where the hum of lawnmowers mixed with the chatter of kids on bikes. Everything calm, simple, normal, until it wasn't. Because on this street, that peace was about to get ambushed. Maxwell Stone, quiet man, tidy brick house, trash bag in hand, just stepping out to do chores. But as he reached the end of his driveway, he froze. Three people stood waiting. Two men in black tactical vests, and between them, Patricia Lockwood, the all too proud HOA president with a clipboard for a crown. Their vests said community enforcement in bold patches. Cute, right? Except their boots were scuffed, straps dangling loose, and the way they stood screamed wannabe cop. Maxwell knew a performance when he saw one, and this one reeked of amateur hour. Mr. Stone, Patricia snapped, arms crossed tight. We need to talk. About what? He asked, calm as a breeze. The tall guy with the shaved head and mirrored sunglasses stepped forward. You're in violation of neighborhood regulations. We're here to detain you until police arrive. Detain him? Oh, that was rich. Maxwell's eyebrow barely moved. Detain me? His voice was low, amused, like he'd just been told a bad joke. Patricia's tone sharpened. You've ignored notices, and this has gone too far. These men are here to ensure compliance. Maxwell's gaze flicked from her to the fake cops. And what exactly are the charges? The bearded one fumbled a folded paper from his vest. Property violations, unauthorized driveway changes, loud gatherings, you name it. Maxwell let out a quiet laugh. So that gives you the right to walk onto my property and, what was it again? Detain me? The tall one's jaw tightened. You can come peacefully or we make it harder. And that's when the air changed. Curtains shifted. Phones came out. Neighbors peeked. The whole block was watching. Maxwell's reply was ice cold. You're not police. You're trespassing, and you just picked the wrong driveway. Before we go any further, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from, and hit subscribe to Silent Divide Tales, because tomorrow's story will leave you speechless. The tall man didn't back off. His boots scraped against the driveway as he took one heavy step forward. Sir, don't make this difficult. You're being non-compliant. That means we have the right to escalate. Maxwell almost smiled. Escalate? You're standing on my property with no badge, no authority, and no idea how deep in trouble you already are. You've got 30 seconds to walk away before you regret this stunt. Patricia's face twisted with outrage. You think threats make this better? You've ignored letters, warnings, fines. The HOA exists to keep this neighborhood safe and respectable. People like you. She stopped herself mid-sentence, but it was too late. Those three words, people like you, hung in the air like poison. Have you ever seen someone's mask slip right before your eyes? Maxwell's voice turned quiet, lethal. Be careful how you finish that thought, Patricia. The bearded imposter cleared his throat nervously. Look, it doesn't need to get ugly. Just come with us. We'll wait for officers. Maybe they go easy. Officers? Maxwell said. Funny, the only officers I see are you two clowns in knockoff vests. That hit home. The tall one stiffened. The shorter one's eyes darted to Patricia, silently asking if this was still worth it. But she doubled down. These men are authorized by the HOA board to ensure compliance. We don't have to answer to you. Maxwell chuckled under his breath. Listen to yourself. You brought bargain bin security guards to enforce rules. That's not authority. That's desperation. By now, the neighbors had fully gathered, phones raised, whispers spreading. Someone muttered, "This is crazy." Maxwell lowered his voice so only the imposters could hear, but his words carried. You want real authority? It's law, it's training, it's accountability, and the real cops will love this little act you're putting on. For a split second, doubt flashed across the tall man's face. But pride's a dangerous fuel. Instead of backing off, he stepped closer. You resist, he warned. We restrain you. And that's when it happened. From the sidewalk, a teenager lifted his phone and shouted, Yo, Mr. Stone! I got you on live. Thousands were watching now. Can you imagine the panic setting in? But it was about to get so much worse. The tall imposter spun toward the kid. Put that down, he barked, taking a step his way. Wrong move. Maxwell stepped forward instantly, placing himself between the man and the teenager. His tone went cold. You even think about touching that kid. This ends right here. The imposter froze. Patricia tried to regain control, her voice pitching high. This is a neighborhood matter. None of you should be interfering. A woman holding a baby on her porch called out, Neighborhood matter? Looks like harassment to me. That's all it took. Other voices joined in. Where'd you even find these guys? You can't arrest someone for cutting grass too short. Maxwell waited for the noise to settle before speaking, loud enough for the block to hear. Patricia, do you hear them? This isn't order. It's chaos, and you created it. Her reply cracked under pressure. You and your kind have always been a problem, bending the rules, ignoring the standards we built. My kind? Maxwell repeated, voice low but sharp enough to cut glass. You confuse control with leadership, Patricia. They're not the same. Whispers rippled through the crowd. The shorter imposter leaned toward his partner. We should go, he muttered, but the tall one shook his head. No, we finish this. He puffed up his chest, trying to look intimidating. Last chance, Stone. Come with us, or we use force. Maxwell didn't even blink. Go ahead, he said, voice steady. Show the world who you really are, and then the moment of no return, the imposter reached into his vest and pulled out a pair of cheap, shiny cuffs. They clinked together with a metallic snap. You're under neighborhood arrest. Gasps broke out everywhere. Cameras zoomed in. Maxwell's eyes went razor sharp. If you even try to put those on me, that's a felony. Impersonating an officer, unlawful restraint, prison time. The man's hand trembled. His partner whispered, Justin, this is insane. We'll get locked up ourselves. But Patricia's voice cut through, desperate and shaking. Do it. Show him who's in charge. And that was it. Pride overpowered reason. Justin lunged, but Maxwell moved faster. One sidestep, one twist, one snap. The cuffs meant for him now locked around Justin's own wrists. The crowd exploded. Can you believe he actually flipped it on him? But that wasn't even the best part. The street went wild. Neighbors shouting, phones flashing, kids cheering. It was chaos wrapped in satisfaction. Maxwell stood tall over the cuffed imposter, calm as ever. You're done, he said flatly. Don't resist. It only gets worse from here. Patricia's face went pale. You can't arrest him, she shrieked. Maxwell's reply sliced through the noise. You're right. I can't, but I can detain him until the real law arrives. The second imposter, Austin, stepped back with trembling hands. I'm out. I'm done. I never signed up for this. Lady, you never told us he was law enforcement. Maxwell's tone stayed even. That's because she didn't know. Patricia blinked, stunned. What are you talking about? Maxwell adjusted his grip on the cuffed man, reached into his pocket, and pulled out a worn leather wallet. With one smooth motion, he flipped it open for all to see. The badge caught the sunlight, gold, gleaming, undeniable. I'm Special Agent Maxwell Stone, he said, voice calm but thunderous. Federal Bureau of Investigation. The crowd gasped in unison. You could have heard a pin drop. The man they thought was just another homeowner was a federal agent, and Patricia Lockwood had just tried to arrest the FBI. Before she could speak, real sirens wailed down the street. Blue and red lights cut through the morning sun. Two officers stepped out fast, eyes wide, hands near their holsters. Maxwell didn't move. He stood straight, authority radiating. Officers, he said firmly, holding up the badge. Special Agent Stone, FBI. The man in my custody impersonated law enforcement and assaulted me on my own property. Every second was recorded. He nodded toward the sea of raised phones. You won't be short on evidence. The officers exchanged a look, then nodded. Justin was lifted to his feet, still cuffed. Austin tore off his vest and muttered, I'll cooperate. And then all eyes turned to Patricia. Ma'am, the lead officer asked, did you authorize these men to act as law enforcement? Patricia's voice quivered. I was just trying to keep order. Order? Maxwell said. You staged a fake arrest to intimidate your neighbor. That's not order, that's control. The crowd roared in agreement. We all saw it, someone yelled. You set this up. Patricia's voice cracked. You can't arrest me. I'm the HOA president. The officer's reply was cold as steel. That title doesn't put you above the law. And just like that, Patricia Lockwood, self-proclaimed Queen of Greenville, was escorted away under flashing lights. Her power? Gone. Her pride? Shattered. Her downfall? Broadcast live. Have you ever seen someone abuse power only to have it crumble in front of everyone? If you believe justice always finds those who misuse it, hit that like button and subscribe to Silent Divide Tales. Because in this world, power built on fear always collapses.